More than likely.
Yes.
You have her number.
There's an audience for a class on sexual
She
development.
graduated from high school.
This is all you're gonna get.
Can she drive?
Yes.
In the 1960s, sex was an undiscussed topic and seemed to be very frowned upon. In the movie Forrest Gump, I remember certain scenes of what they portrayed to be Elvis Presley pelvic thrusting on TV, and then show how people at that time were discussing the outrage of what he did. Recently, sex has become a seller for music, TV, and many other involving media. It seems as though everyone, including preteens, are doing it now, but no one wants to discuss the consequences that follow. I say this today because I received a text message from my 14-year-old sister asking me what sex was. The first thought that came to my mind was, why does she not already know? Is this not properly discussed in her home and school? And is it my job to educate her since she did ask me the question? Because of this question asked of me, I decided to do a little research of my own before giving her an answer. I wanted to properly educate her with true facts, but I also wanted to give her my take on the subject to my best ability. Being the mother of a daughter and older sister, I would definitely want both of them to know about the so-called birds and bees. Everyone seems to know common facts when it comes to sex, but what about the ones who don't know and are afraid to ask? I will start by giving you a few key points that I found were need-to-know tidbits when it comes to sexual education. After searching what I thought was good information to pass down, the two major topics were, of course, teen pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections. Teen pregnancy has slowly started to decrease, which seems to be a good thing, but it's still happening. Being a 21-year-old mother, it is difficult, in my opinion, birthing and raising a child. I can definitely not do this at a younger age, as a young age mother. At the age of 16, being a mother could definitely be difficult without a strong support system, and I won't even begin to talk about the financial aspect of it. In an article I came across about teen pregnancy, Diana Hurst of the Liberty Voice says, numbers from 2012 show that the rate of births of teenage girls between 15 and 17 has declined by 63%, from 38.6 births per 1,000 girls in 1991 to 14.1 births per 1,000 girls in 2012. Ms. Hurst also said, according to the National Institutes of Health, pregnant teens are at higher risk of medical complications than women above the age of 20. Babies who are born to teenage girls are more prone to low birth rates, inadequate fetal growth, and prematurity. So from this to take care of and raise a sick baby, along with the fact that a young girl is still growing herself, seems to be quite mature. To continue with our next topic at hand, sexually transmitted infections are another heavy hitter when it comes to younger generations. Knowing the signs and symptoms of STIs is just the beginning. If not properly treated, they will eventually become a nightmare from hell. Genital herpes is one amongst the few that, if transmitted, never goes away, which is equivalent to a lifetime sentence. Catching this disease or others like it at the tender age of 13 seems to be a pretty traumatic experience. Some people tend to say that nowadays getting an STD is as easy as catching a common cold. It shouldn't be that simple. This may seem harsh to relate it to, but it's very true. I've spoken about these two major topics that I do not want to dwell on for too long. I'm here today more concerned about speaking on prevention of the two. A lot of teens are, of course, pressured into doing things that they themselves don't want to do. This saddens me to know that there are not a lot of individual kids with their own mind or way of thinking. Whatever happened to the phrase of being a leader, not a follower? A simple conversation may be a cure-all for all these issues. It could all start with just one kid to make a change, and that one could turn to 10, then maybe 100. It seems as though to be a simple fix, but communication can be difficult for some people. My main point to get across to you today is never hinder a mind from further education, even if it has to do with a touchy subject like sex. Everyone seems to know the common facts when it comes to sex, but what about the ones who don't know and are afraid to ask? In my sister's case, it never hurts to ask. It hurts more if you don't. I decided to text my sister back, gave her a description of what it was, and informed her of the consequences from it. For my research, I gave her great facts that I thought mattered. I took upon myself to give her rightful knowledge that I did not want anyone else giving her. Subjects like this may seem hard to speak upon, but they are definitely worth conversating about. After our drawn-out conversation through messaging, I asked her to be honest with me and tell me how she felt about it. Out of everything I just spoke about, she says to me that definitely has nothing to do with birds and bees.